Welcome to Joy in Our Town. I'm Lisa Buldo, and our issue is the economy, and we're focusing on personal finance and responsibility. I'm joined by Lloyd Johnson, retired financial planner and author of Fools Never Raise Their Thoughts So High. Mr. Johnson, thank you so much for being with us today.
It's my pleasure. Glad to be here.
So talk to us, first of all, what are finance skills?
Personal finance skills, I would say I would use personal finance survival skills. Say one is using common sense when you're dealing with money, and the other is using money wisely and not getting caught up with acquiring possessions that you don't need. And the other survival skill, financial survival skill, is saying no. Being able to say, no, I am not going to lend any money to you in particular. You know, that's kind of a tough thing to say to someone that you know and someone that you're supposed to like and they like you, but sometimes you have to say those things. And being able to say no, common sense, use money wisely, and say no when necessary.
So when it comes to personal finance, is there a list of priorities that an individual should have?
Yes, a list of priorities or a list of goals. One of the goals would be retirement, and that's a long-term goal, and it's something that you should start with your very first paycheck, saving for retirement. You know, and the others are education. If you have children, you want to save for your child's education, and think about your own education too at the same time. Another is home ownership. Could be on your list. Definitely on your list, if you have this problem, is debt reduction. Debt reduction is a big problem for many people. Caring for parents may be a concern of yours. And one thing that should be on your list is your dream. What do you dream about? You know, you have a dream, because the thing that gets you up in the morning, if you don't have it on your list, put it on your list, okay? It could be something small, or it could be what the Harvard Business School calls the big, hairy, audacious goal, you know?
Wow.
But put your dream on your list.
Very good. So how important are credit reports?
Credit reports are extremely important because they're going to affect most of the things that you do. If you check into a hotel, someone's going to ask you for your check for your credit card. Okay. If you're buying a car, you want to get a car loan. If you are buying auto insurance, I used to sell auto insurance, and one of the things I know is the insurance companies. I don't know if they still do it, but they would check your credit. Your credit score, in order to determine what they're going to charge you for auto insurance. You know, if you're going to get a mortgage for a house, if you're looking for a job, college students sometimes get in trouble when they first go in their freshman year. They get credit cards. By the end of the 4 or 5 years, they may have a lot of debt, and the employers are looking at your credit score. You know, and also there is a place you can go, nfcc.org. It's the National Foundation for Credit Counseling, if you need counseling in that area. But employers will check to see if you have some debt. And credit, the root word for credit is credo, I believe. And what the person lending you money is saying is, I believe you're going to pay this money back. That's what credit means. And you will learn how much they trust you by the interest rate they charge you.
Wow. So where can people earn more than the 1% or less that banks are paying out today?
Yeah, banks used to pay more, but they don't. Yeah. It's about 1%. If you're going to need the money within the next 4 years, then leave it in the 1%. If your goal is beyond 4 years, say 5 years or more, then you can invest, take some risk with the money, and I would use mutual funds. And specifically, I would suggest using a stock index fund and a value index fund. Use the index funds because most mutual fund companies, or most mutual funds, say a stock mutual fund, what they want to do is to beat the index fund. So if they're going to try to beat the index fund, sometimes they do beat it and sometimes they don't. You may as well be in the index fund. And
if someone doesn't know what that stuff is, I'm sure they could Google it or
They can Google it, and most of the companies will explain it to you.
What threats are there to individual financial goals, and how can they be protected?
Threats are, well, death can be a threat because what you plan to do with your paycheck for your family in the event of your death, when your heartbeat stops, your paycheck stops. And one of the questions I ask people is, will someone suffer financially if you die?
Wow.
And the second question I ask, do you care? And if you care, then we will do something about your life insurance situation. Another threat could be illness or disability. Other threats could be, there could be a fire at your business, or lots of things can threaten it. And what you need is usually insurance to protect it. You need people, you need advisors that you can go to help you decide what to do in certain situations.
What are some tips that people don't usually hear about that can help them to be more financially responsible?
You know, what people can do is, my tip is don't be totally dependent on your current paycheck. That could disappear because you could lose your job. But while you're working, you can try to find something in addition to your job that you can do. For example, some people like to bake, so you can sell cakes on the weekend. Some people, I'll give you an example. I have my two oldest grandsons. They're in college. One of them tutors for a little extra money in his pocket. The other one found out that many of his classmates in their freshman year never learned how to do laundry. Wow. So he does laundry. He has a little laundry business going, and they pay him for it, and he puts a little extra money in his pockets. Find something that you can do. Barry Gordy used to work on an assembly line, and he wrote songs on the side, okay, which became Motown. So you don't know what's going to happen, but do a little something else.
That could go back to your dream, right?
Go back to your dream.
That you talked about.
That dream, yes it is.
Maybe on the side. So what are some reasons that somebody might resist either seeking help or receiving help in the area of their personal finances?
One of the reasons is pride. Some people are too proud to ask for help, Ignorance is another one. Having that type of an attitude is a detriment to your finances. You should ask for help if you need it. Right. One of the things that happens is there's a statistic that says that people who come into money, whether they inherit it or they hit the lottery or something like that, in 6 months the money is gone.
Wow.
In 6 months. And I can tell you some stories of people that I tried to counsel about what to do with money that they came in, and money disappears on the average in 6 months.
So talk to us about Kingdom Speaking and your workshop, Wisdom and God's Money.
Wisdom and God's Money is a workshop that I started about 10 years ago, and it's a workshop that I do at churches, and what we do is we take you through a financial plan through financial planning. You know, one of the things I talk to people about is that Solomon didn't pray for money. He didn't pray for riches. He prayed for discernment. And what he was given was wisdom and God's money, you know. And I take people through some of the questions that you asked about planning, about setting up a budget. You know, the budget, you have your income, and then you list your priorities, the things that you have to spend money on. You list those first. And I talk to them about tithing and giving is first on your list. Then saving is next on your list. Debt reduction is next on your list. And then your other important bills that you have to pay. And you add that up, subtract it from your income, and what's left is what we call your variable expenses. But you don't do the variable before you take care of what's necessary.
That's so good. Tell us one more time, just a couple of things, first steps towards becoming financially responsible. Okay,
first steps is, first, don't spend 100% of your income. Don't spend 100% of any money that comes to you. When you get paid, or when you receive money, 10% goes to giving. Amen. Okay, give 10%. If you're a church person, then you're going to be tithing. If you're not, find a charity and give 10%. The next thing you're going to do is you're going to save or invest at least 10%, no less than 10%. You should be saving and investing more, but at least 10%. And then learn to live on 80% of your income. Some people, because of credit cards, live on 120% of their income, and that's a problem. Then the next step is to set up an emergency fund. Emergencies happen, things happen. You know, you never know what's going to happen. You could lose your job. There could be a fire at your. But we'll set up an emergency fund. And that emergency fund should, and I think, should equal 1 year's income. You'll hear financial planners say 3 months' income, 6 months' income, 9 months' income. And the reason I believe they say that is because they heard somebody else say it. I suggest 1 year's income, because when emergencies come, they don't just come and disappear right away. It takes a while. So that's the next step. And you can you should know that if you spend 100% of your income, you will eventually need to borrow from those who have been saving.
Excellent. So much wisdom there. Thank you so much for being with us today, Mr. Johnson. And thank you, and we'll be right back after these messages.